of our country. People can't do anything. People are looking to get approvals for factories for 15 years. And then after the 15th year, they get voted down after having spent a fortune. So that's going to end. We have one of our really great people, as you know, Scott, is looking to be approved by the Senate. We're still waiting for that one, too. It's a disgrace what's going on. But as soon as he gets involved, we're going to unclog the system. And by the way, people are going to get rejected, but they're going to get rejected quickly. But for the most part, they're going to be accepted when they want to do it. We're going to bring the jobs back. And your state was very, very good to me, as you know. I mean, they were very, very good to me, and I appreciate that. And just tell the people we're going to get the system unclogged, and we're going to get it up. As you know, I approved 2 pipelines that were stuck in limbo forever. I don't even think it was controversial. You know, I approved them. I haven't even heard. I haven't had one call from anybody saying, oh, that was a terrible thing you did. I haven't had one call. You know, usually if I do something, it's like bedlam, right? I haven't had one call from anybody. And, you know, we've got a lot of jobs. In the Keystone case, we have potentially 32,000 jobs almost immediately. And then, as you know, I did the Dakota pipeline. And nobody called up to complain because it was unfair. Years of getting approvals. Nobody showed up to fight it. This company spends tremendous hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden people show up to fight it. It's not fair to our companies. And I think everyone's going to be happy in the end, okay? So I appreciate it very much, Sheriff. Great honor to have you here. Thank you. And say hello to the people.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. President. I'm John Layton, I'm the Sheriff of Marion County, Indiana, which is...
You never met our great vice president.
I'm very proud of this man. And we as sheriff, this is, to me, it seems like it's unprecedented. I look back into the history of the NSA long before myself, and I could never find where not only the president, but now the vice president as well, has invited us into your house to share some concerns of ours.
And in about 10 minutes, you're going to see the Oval Office too, which is, that's the other thing. You know, people have had meetings here. I had the car companies, the biggest companies, Ford, General Motors, Fiat, and they were in this room often. I said, oh, so you've seen the Oval Office? No, we've never been invited to see the Oval Office. You know where the Oval Office is? 10 feet in that direction, 10 feet.
Looking forward to it.
And you know what, when they said these are the biggest people, no, we're going there. These are the biggest people. So they were never invited to the Oval Office, and they're only 10 feet away. You would think they would be invited, but you're going to see the Oval Office, okay?
Thank you, President. One of the main concerns with not just my office of sheriff, but across the nation is the mentally ill in the jails. And the people that are being, really, for lack of a better term, warehoused in our jails across America because we don't have the facilities necessary to take care of them on the outside. And it ends up a lot of these people go to jail because the public or the police officer happens to be mad at them at the time instead of they need to be in the jail,
right.
For very good reason. So we just appreciate you having the back of law enforcement. We do all feel that, as anyone with a badge knows, that you do have our backs, and that we're looking forward to years of harmony and taking care of business for the people we serve.
I appreciate it. And I will say that in the recent election, law enforcement is with me. I mean, the numbers were staggering. Staggering. It wasn't like, gee, it's 51-49. Believe me, it was through the roof. Law enforcement and military also.
Absolutely.
I think generally people in uniform tend to like me. explain that to me. Dana, explain that to me. I don't. So, Sheriff, thank you very much.
Thank you,
I do miss your former governor.
We do.
You have a good new governor.
Governor Holcomb is right. Holding down the fort for us. But big shoes for him to fill.
Mike Pence has been fantastic.
Yes, he has.
Dana, I want to thank you for your service. Amazing the way you just stepped into the breach and have done such a good job. And let's see what happens with the court case.
Well, Mr. President, thank you for the privilege to serve you in the Department of Justice and the American people. I'm very, very honored by it. And I want to thank all the sheriffs here, but I guess our local and state partners, you know, it's very important to federal law enforcement and all the agencies. And I know that Senator Sessions, and we're looking forward to him getting to the department, will make that an important priority, and he wants to strengthen that bond that we have with them, because it's very, very important to law enforcement.
Yes, well, thank you very much. And, you know, one of the things that you know better than anybody is that we had a very good victory in Boston. So I said to everybody, why don't we use the Boston case? Why aren't we using the Boston case? Because the Boston victory was great, but it's statutorily and some difficulties.
Judge Gorton, who wrote that decision, had a very good analysis where he referred to immigration law, and I thought it was a terrific opinion.
Yeah.
And I think it's the right opinion.
And a highly respected judge, too, so I appreciate it. Thank you, Dana, very much. Appreciate it.
Mr. President, I'm Sheriff Page from Rockingham County, North Carolina. I think you do very well in North Carolina. And
North Carolina.
And I just want to say that we appreciate you being where you're at. The first responsibility of government is protecting its people. As elected by the people, and you're elected by the people, we got that. When you say there's a new sheriff in town, we relate to that. You're about the rule of law. We haven't seen that in many years, and we appreciate that. And I'll tell you something, when General Kelly was speaking yesterday for the sheriffs, he was telling us about, I saw something I haven't seen before. He went to the border, he looked at the assets, and he asked the law enforcement down there, what's going on and what can we do to help fix this situation down here? So you've got a good team, you're putting together a good team, you've got support of sheriffs from across the country, and we appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you. And a funny story, so when General Kelly was just sworn in, now Secretary Kelly, and I said, do you want to have dinner tonight and we'll talk? Sir, I'm heading to the border. I said, I like that better. We don't need dinner. He said, I like that better. So he's right on the ball. He's going to be fantastic. Just everybody says the same thing. Thank you. That's very nice. I'll tell him.
Good morning, Mr. President. Dave Mahoney. I'm the sheriff in Dane County, which is Madison, Wisconsin. I want to thank you for inviting our nation's sheriffs into the White House. You know, as the only elected law enforcement leaders in our community, we are the most engaged in our community issues and concerns. And I think it's important. I think there's a strong message when the President of the United States invites our nation's sheriffs in to talk about those issues that are of importance in our community.
Has this ever happened before with the sheriffs?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Never happened.
Never, sir.
And yet the murder rate in our country is the highest it's been in 47 years, right? Did you know that? 47 years. I used to use that. I'd say that in a speech and everybody was surprised because the press doesn't tell it like it is. It wasn't to their advantage to say that. But the murder rate is the highest it's been in, I guess, from 45 to 47 years. And you would think that you would be invited here and you would think that you people would be able to solve, if you ran Chicago, you would solve that nightmare. I'll tell you, I'll bet everybody in that room, especially Carolyn, right, would raise their hand because to allow, I mean, literally hundreds of shootings a month, it's worse than some of the places that we read about in the Middle East where you have wars going on. It's so sad. Chicago's become so sad a situation. But go ahead.
I'm only 3 hours from downtown Chicago. As Sheriff Stanek mentioned, you know, the issues of heroin and opiate addiction, I'm averaging 12 to 15 overdoses a week in my community. And we need help from DEA, FBI, and our task forces. We need them to be adequately funded and led by leaders who want to work collectively with our nation's sheriffs.
How much of your crime is caused, you think, by drugs generally?
80%.
80%.
80%.
So without drugs, you would have a whole different ballgame.
I have a jail over 1,000 beds. 80% suffer from chronic
And when
drug
did
and
it
alcohol
really
addiction.
start big league, or has it been going on for many years?
Well, I think heroin and opiates have overshadowed cocaine, which of course has been, you know, since the 80s our #1 drug of choice. Now it's prescription painkillers and
And at a much higher level?
at a higher level.
Much higher level.
The overdoses are at a much higher
Right.
level.
Mr. President,
You know, and-
interrupt. It used to take 90 days to take a load of heroin from the border to get it into the economics mainstream. Now it's taking 14 days.
Okay, well, we'll have it take infinity, okay?
And beyond.
I want to thank you too for seeking the input and guidance of our nation's sheriffs on issues like immigration. You know, my community is looking for immigration reform, an expedited way for a good immigrant to obtain citizenship in this great country. And I appreciate the invitation today to join you and look forward to working with you on many of these issues. Some we'll disagree on, but far more we're going to agree on.
Absolutely, you're right. I actually can't believe that we're having to fight to protect the security, in a court system, to protect the security of our nation. I can't even believe it. And a lot of people agree with us, believe me. There's a group of people out there, and I mean much more than half of our country, much, much more. You're not allowed to use the term silent majority anymore, you know. You're not allowed because they make that into a whole big deal. But there's a group of people out there, massive, massive numbers, far bigger than what you see protesting. And if those people ever protested, you would see a real protest. But they want to see our borders secure and our country secure.